Hey everyone, contrary to belief, I am still around. It's been about 2 years since I have actually posted a video on the build of Nelson, and I just got to say that things have pulled me away. Traveling, medical issues, family, work, especially work, and everyone knows that doing a build takes time and money, which are in short supply these days. So anyway, I'm back. I think in the last video we did get some paint on Nelson, and I wasn't happy with the outcome, so I took some time, thought about it, and went ahead and sanded the clear down pretty flat with 1200 grit and re-cleared it. So much happier with that. I will show all that, show the results of that in another video, because quite frankly I'm embarrassed to show it because it has so much dust on it. I need to roll it outside and give it a wash. But the stage I was in when I had to stop working on it, I was in the middle of wiring and got so far on that, and then wound up in the hospital with some minor surgery, and so that kind of took the wind out of my sails, to be honest. And then I was thinking, I need some motivation to get me going on this again. And I missed a lot of car shows, hanging out with my buddies, really hurt. But I kept missing the self-imposed deadlines that I presented myself. So I'm not doing that anymore. It just makes me depressed when I miss that, and I'm just gonna build it, get done, and then we'll have better days. So anyway, in one of my earlier videos I talked about the transmission and doing the swap from 4-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive, and I just wasn't really happy with going back with an automatic. So I thought about it a long time. Couldn't afford the aftermarket route, but in the last 6 months, watching some videos, checking on some company parts, and I decided to do a manual swap on this thing, and we'll get into that. Anyway, this is the 4L60E that I built. It has a ton of Sonax parts in it. I switched it out to 5 pinion planetaries, and it's got the 14 disc Raybestos clutch kit in it. It's got like all stage 2 Sonax components in it, higher pressure regulator, all that stuff. Supposedly that build is supposed to be kind of mild-mannered on the street when you just drive around normal, but when you really get into it and get on it, it's supposed to come to life and really come alive. And I never got a chance to do that, but I still have this. It's still an option later, but I want to show you what I've come up with on this. So I couldn't afford a Tremec or something like that, aftermarket, just way too expensive to get there for me. This is a Nissan EA200 6-speed manual that's out of a 2005 to 2019 Frontier. and there are several companies that make a adapter kit to mount this to an LS motor or a small block Chevy. So I did a lot of research on this. Luckily, I found one that was a very late model. This is out of a 2018 or 19 truck. Low miles, super clean. Didn't even have any clutch dust inside the bell housing. That's how clean it was. And I know that the company that pulled it did not wash this. This was straight out. I have already washed it, cleaned it up. It had some dust and dirt on here on the outside, but I think I got lucky finding this one. Now, this is supposedly going to work because the center of the shifter from the face of the bell housing is approximately the same distance where I had my automatic shifter, floor shifter, set up for the 4L60. So it should be in the right spot. The only thing I've got to do, one, I've got to cut a hole in the floorboard that's about 4.5 inch diameter, and hopefully I don't have to modify the tunnel to make this fit. So if I do, I do. I'll cut it out. I'll do sheet metal over it, and but hopefully this will fit right in there, and we'll be good. So these share the same internal architecture as the CD009 Nissan transmissions that have been, you know, run up to 700 horsepower. I'm not even going to be anywhere near that. But the reason I did this is because my build, it's a street car, it's a cruiser. I'm not going to race it. I'm just going to cruise around in it. And to me, being old school, I think that a hot rod you cruise around in, there's nothing better than having a manual transmission in it. Luckily, the S10 Blazer platform, as well as their trucks, they came out with a manual option in some of the years, in some of the models. So there are parts available to install clutch pedal, master cylinder, and slave, and all that stuff. So I will show you what I came up with on that stuff. But first, I want to go over what I chose for the adapter kit and why, and we'll get into that in just a second. Alright folks, this is what I did. I got online, I did some research, and there is 3 or 4 companies that make adapters to adapt this EA200 transmission to an LS. And after studying all the particulars about them, I settled on G-Force Performance products. Their adapter plate is 3/8 thick steel, and they include a new pilot bushing. This spacer goes behind the throwout bearing. They include a bolt kit. It's all grade 10.9 metric, really good stuff. And what I was most impressed with was the flywheel that they include. I wasn't expecting this kind of quality, really. I was kind of pleasantly surprised. I opened the box and inspected everything, and let me just pull this out. What really got me was on the back side of this flywheel, made in USA, and even has an SFI sticker. I was not expecting that. Really happy. That's telling me that the quality is there. I don't have to worry about this. Now, I've already checked the fit. The flywheel fit perfectly on my my L33, and the plate lined up. It already came with the dowels for the transmission side, and I opted when I ordered this to include as a package the dowel pins for the clutch pressure plate and pressure plate bolts, and they're all good quality 12-point bolts. And I did order ARP bolts for the flywheel, and I'm really impressed with this. One of the reasons I went with this is that it will use the Nissan clutch. I don't have to do anything special. I can get a clutch. I already bought one. I'll show you that here in just a minute, but I bought a stage 2 clutch that has a Kevlar component in the friction disc and a good pressure plate. Seems to get really good reviews. A new throwout bearing and all that stuff. So I'll show you that here in just a minute. But yeah, shout out to G-Force Performance. They even threw a little rag in there for me, so that was really cool. If you're interested in looking at that, just go to crossmembers.com, and hopefully that won't get taken down, but real happy with the purchase on that. Everything fits nicely. All right, some of the other stuff I purchased. Of course, I had to buy a yoke for the Nissan transmission, and this one is for 1330 U-joints. I've also got the drive shaft ends and a piece of tubing ordered. Here is the clutch disc and the clutch from XTD. This was like, I don't know, it was like $200. The rear transmission mount, it uses the same one that I was using on the 4L60E. This one's from Energy Suspension, a common item. And some of the other stuff, another reason why I did this build is because it does use the stock Nissan slave cylinder, which mounts externally on the transmission and engages a throwout arm that's really heavy. Here it is. It's a forged piece, not a stamped, so I'm really happy with that. I got the Nissan master cylinder, and what I'll have to do is drill a hole through my firewall. It's 1 7/16 inches for this to mount through, and then make some kind of an adapter to the pedal. I am running a -4AN line down to the slave cylinder from the master cylinder. I'm using a Ford Ranger remote clutch fluid reservoir, and I'll put a line to those. The ARP flywheel bolts, these are not flex plate bolts. Always trust ARP. So now, one thing I did do that I was not really into the pilot bushing I made an adapter that will hold two R10 ball bearings, and these are sealed, and I doubled up on it. They fit the input shaft of the transmission very nicely with, you know, 1 or 2 thousandths of an inch clearance, and they're going to be there. And these are rated up to 10,000 RPM. So if you're revving an engine with the clutch pushed in, or you're in neutral and you're not really driving the input shaft, then that's where the wear comes in on your bushing. Your engine's turning, but your transmission is not. If you're sitting at a stoplight with the clutch in, or at the drag strip and you're revving, ready to launch, that's where most of your wear is going to come in on your pilot bushing. So these take care of that. Hopefully you never need to service that. I doubled up, so this handles, you know, like 4,000 to 5,000 pounds of side load. So should be good. Got my work cut out for me to get all this done. I'm still coming up with a shifter that I'll have to modify and go through that, because I want to try to save my center console that I built and just convert it over. So got a little bit of work to do there, and I'll keep you, I'll do another video as I install this. And but doing this, it really put some motivation back in me. So I'm anxious to get this done, get this thing fired up and cruise around in it with a manual transmission. One thing later I may have to do is change the rear gear. Nelson's got a 373 ratio gear in it, and that might be a little much for first gear in here. I may have to back that down to a 3.0 something, because this transmission, even though it's a 6-speed, it only has one overdrive. Fifth gear is 1-to-1, but first gear is like 4 something to 1 ratio. It's really low, and it's kind of like a granny gear. So, you know, I'll drive it around, see. I may just start in second gear all the time. So we'll see how it goes. But I'll keep you, of course, do some more videos as we go on. I appreciate you watching. If you feel like commenting, please do so. I will get the car cleaned up enough to not be embarrassed about showing it in a later video. The paint's not perfect, but it's okay. It's good enough for me. I have not done any kind of cut and buff on it, so that's a possibility, but it's really not bad. I just don't want to give it away just yet. So anyway, be well, and I will be back. Thank you.